I'm Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. I do this through a process of energy psychology, and this is essentially the repatterning of our energy field through our awareness, through our connection to oneness, God, source, sovereignty. Sorry. I'm not a psychologist. I don't believe in a lot of the dogmas that go along with traditional indoctrination and education. So with that said, today I wanted to talk about decision making in alignment, and I wanted to use this opportunity to provide a different way in which you can begin to make decisions that feel not necessarily better, but feel different. Because sometimes feeling different is the better, higher frequency. But so many times what I've noticed in sessions and also with myself, that we get so comfortable in our thinking and our way of being that we will make decisions of what to do based on comfort level versus making decisions that are in alignment with a higher frequency. Essentially, you would need to make a choice to make a decision in alignment with a higher frequency, not just in alignment with yourself, because a lot of things that we have going on within ourselves are not at higher frequencies. Hello. And so what I would say is it's important when you're making decisions to make decisions based on the direction that you want to go. So for example, a higher frequency. If you want to live life differently, not just comfortably, but differently, then you'll want to live at a higher frequency. A higher frequency is going to give you more access to higher levels of consciousness. Hi, Eric. Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. And so making a decision every day to be in alignment with a higher frequency. So how this works is, let's just say you have a decision whether you want to work with a practitioner. And maybe you want to work with them, or maybe even more importantly, you don't want to work with them. I don't want to work with this person. And you would say, is it in my highest alignment to a higher frequency to work with this person? And then you make your decision based on your feeling. So as your thinking will be easily go by the patterns, because thinking works in patterns and not always the patterns of what you want to create, but patterns that have already been created. So when you're talking about higher frequencies, that's going to be a different kind of pattern, right? So you want to allow yourself the fluidity to make decisions based on the direction of going to a higher frequency. A frequency would be a higher quality. So a lot of people, so for example, I have a dear client and friend. I've known her for many, many, many years. And I tried to help her go to a different frequency. She doesn't want to go to a different frequency. She wants to do what she's always done and what she knows, which is okay. I'm going to compassionately witness her in her situations, which are very low frequency, filled with a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. However, the choice to change your frequency is always there in the moment you decide, I want to change this frequency. I want to feel a different vibration. I want to feel what it's like to vibrate at a higher frequency in the healthcare that I'm getting, in the ideas that I'm open to, in the books that I'm reading, because everything that you're reading is holding a frequency. When people are just scrolling on the internet, they're scrolling frequencies. Some of them have been implanted with programs. Some of them have not. Some of them are holding a higher frequency. Some of them are not. play and see what you notice. What's higher, what's lower. The only way you can tell a frequency is not from your thinking, but it's from your feeling. That's the only way you can discern frequency, is how you feel. It'll feel different. It'll have a nuance. It will have a vibration that's different. So for example, when I first started doing Ayurvedic healthcare, it was not something I wanted to do. I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like the way it tasted, because I had tasted some of the foods, because I wasn't vibrating at the frequency of these high quality foods. Why? Because when you eat a lot of low vibration frequency, it will change how you experience. So Jeffrey Gold is saying it's all thoughts frequency. Thoughts are a frequency, true, but not every thought holds the same quality of frequency. So how do you know is how you feel, and you can tell. Judgment holds a dense frequency. Well, oh, hey there, XT. I don't know what you're saying there. What am I saying about procrastination? Oh, what are my tips about procrastination? Sorry. Okay, let me just say this. Not all thoughts hold the same frequency. So what you want to start to discern and consciously choose is what you're focusing on in the direction of a higher frequency, right? Is it in a direction of a higher frequency timeline? Is it in alignment with your life purpose? Higher quality questions will give you a better quality decision. So many people are making decisions based on what they want, which is not always in alignment with what's best, okay? So tips on procrastination. Well, a lot of times procrastination is about having some kind of block. So I would be interested, XT, on knowing what it is that you feel like you're procrastinating on. But a lot of times procrastination is a block of some kind. It also might be a lack of importance or urgency. And it also might be an indication that you need to look at what it is that you're doing from a different perspective. I'm not sure if that helps. So for example, I'm just going to use something that I might procrastinate on, which is administrative work. It's not my favorite. So I try to put music on, or have like a game that I play that makes doing administrative work less, hi Michelle, less heavy and less dense. Does that make sense? So usually if there's a procrastination, there is some kind of block, some kind of density, or some kind of lifting that needs to occur with it. But you know, it really just depends on what you're procrastinating with. If you're procrastinating, let's say making a decision on something, what I might do is ask for more information. Maybe I don't have all the information that I need to make the best decision. So I might look for a less risky decision to make until I get more information. So I would look to see if it's urgent. A lot of times procrastination happens with people. I find this all the time with health issues. People do not want to listen to their bodies. And so there's a lot of procrastination and a lot of doubt about how we listen to our bodies. So I would check in with how you are listening to your body. Hello, Turkey. I'm just looking for questions, if there's any questions about how to make decisions at a higher frequency. I think that the real lesson for today is that you use the question to make decisions. I think we must change how we are deciding to do things. So for example, if somebody dies, are we going to grieve the same way that we've grieved that doesn't feel good? That's a choice. You get to choose how you grieve. Everything is a conscious choice, but if we don't know we can grieve differently, we don't choose differently. So did you know that you could choose to do grief differently? You can choose to see and perceive how you're going to live your life differently based on your choices and your decisions. Basing that decision on, is how I've grieved people's death in the past, is that serving me to living my life in the fullest? And the answer is no, then you have an answer. Okay, so how can I grieve differently today that will put me on a higher frequency timeline for my life? And then you start to open yourself up to new potentials just by making one conscious choice to, you know what, I'm not going to grieve that way. I'm going to grieve a totally different way. I'm just looking for questions. So somebody, Fortunate is saying that depressed. Depressed is a frequency. It's a low frequency, and it's a program also. So you wanna look at how are you choosing your life choices from a different space. Like how, if you don't want to be depressed, you must choose to express something different. Because depressed, oppressed, suppressed is an expression that gets put on people oftentimes. And because they didn't choose differently, they kept experiencing that. XT, let me know if that helps you with the procrastination or if you have another question. Somebody said fart frequency. A lot of air is processed through gas, whether it's belching or farting. So it actually is a way to expel dense energies. Just thought I would let you know, Wasa. Jeffrey Gold says, interesting. Somebody says, I look like I have a Linda Hamilton nose from The Wizard of Oz. What can I say? What do I say to that? Jeffrey Gold is saying, ego, imagine. Ego work is so tough, Jeffrey, because a lot of people don't know how to distinguish when their ego mind is active and running the show and when their heart is even in play. So most people just discount their heart frequency and go with the thinking mind, which will take you down a rabbit hole of lower frequencies almost every time. Yes, I read the comments. Let me see. XT says, further study. I have my degree already, but need to get a CPA, which requires further study. XT is saying, I have no motivation to do this, which is unlike me. XT, I will say this. Everything about life that is real and authentic is going to come from your inner knowing. I would suggest that what you are sensing is that that is no longer in alignment for you, meaning that you are really in a pivotal point in your life of deciding whether you want to go in alignment with a construct or a way of doing things that is traditional and maybe old and not very functional, and people that do that might not be very happy, and maybe you're seeing, sensing that, or feeling that, and maybe your skills and all that degree that you put to, maybe they have reached their max of teaching you, And maybe you are ready to go beyond what is traditional and try something different. I personally would say that although I have my master's degree in organizational leadership and conflict management, and I have used those skills, that everything that I have done on my spiritual journey has been unlearning every dogma, ideology, program, and conditioning that they teach you in these traditional organizations. They teach you to be in a system as a slave. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but if you want to move beyond what's traditional, it's going to require a lot more courage. And I would suggest XT that you're not unmotivated, especially if you know that's not like you. So you already know you're motivated. What I would suggest, XT, is that you really listen to your inner knowing and don't do what people are telling you to do. Do what feels right until you know it's the right thing for you. Maybe 5 years down the line, you want to go revisit that. Maybe you don't. But I think that you will not be disappointed when you follow your inner knowing. It's always when you are following what you're supposed to do that you regret it. In my opinion, in my experience, in my practice, our bodies are always telling us. And if we don't want to do something, there is usually lessons to be learned. So I don't think that you're doubting yourself. You're wondering, how do I interpret this? Because this is different for me. What am I resisting? Maybe you're not resisting anything that's really for you. You just haven't found the right spot. I think that's an excellent question, XT. I thank you for the vulnerability and sharing in your information and what's going on with you. I think you're actually onto something, and I think it's better for you. But, you know, you're talking to somebody here who does not follow traditional prescribed philosophies. I think that they are misguided. I think they bring people away from their inner knowing, and I think that's dangerous, and I think it lacks a lot of critical thinking. So I would use critical thinking not to suppress your experience, but really get curious. Oh, maybe there's something else I should be doing. Maybe there's something that would be more fulfilling. You know, what I would say, XT, is, you know, go talk to some CPAs. And I have a thing on my YouTube here called Careers in the New Paradigm. And there's a section on there where I talk about informational interviews. Go do informational interviews for CPAs. Look at their quality of life. Look at their quality of enjoyment at their jobs. Look at the CPAs. I don't know if you're in the United States or another country, but I will tell you, a lot of them are absolutely in misery. Just saying here. This is what I witness. Seeing if there's any questions. Marat is asking, to be happy or to be happy is in your hands, right? Happiness is really about making conscious choices all the time. And sometimes we don't like what it is that we're seeing in our life. You know, that's not liking something is the ego mind. Like and dislike is all ego mind. It's all judgment. That has nothing to do with conscious choice. Conscious choice is, do I want to continue to be in judgment on my life, or do I want to accept it? And once you get to the space of, you know what, I'm just going to accept this is what it is. This is what it is. Now, how do I want to make it? Because we're always co-creating. Thanks, Eric. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Jeffrey's asking, what is the frequency of Kenneth Rome? I don't know. I don't know who that is. Raman is asking me a good question. Am I menopausal? I don't know if that has anything to do with the frequency of decision making, but the answer is no. I still get my menstrual period. Thanks for asking. Somebody is asking, how crazy am I? Well, you obviously do not, Raman, you obviously do not resonate with me, so you can go ahead and exit off. Jamie has a question. Alan Watts. Oh, I love Alan Watts. There was a time in my life. So Jeffrey Gold is asking about Alan Watts. I never actually have asked or inquired about his frequency. I just know that he's a man that speaks of deep wisdom, and I really enjoy his voice. So I would say he has a high frequency because I enjoy hearing him. And there's actually a music that we play, and in the middle of the DJ set, he brings on Alan Watts, and I just love it. I love Alan Watts. There was a time in my life, probably maybe 20 years ago, I would just listen to Alan Watts on repeat. So I really enjoy Alan Watts. If anybody on here is interested in checking out Alan Watts, Jeffrey Gold is asking about him. I really enjoy his writings and his sayings and his speakings. He's deep. He's very deep. I enjoy it. Jeffrey Gold is saying good advice. Right on. Well, I'm so glad. Somebody is saying, I'm confused. How do you choose a good career? Well, good or bad would be a judgment of the mind. But I would say, how do you resonate with what it is that you're doing? Do you enjoy it? Do you find that it's inspiring, life enhancing? Does it inspire growth? I mean, you really, your career will very much be determined by what it is that you value. So if you go back to my videos in the very first month, I talk a lot about a lot about values, but you should know your top 5, 10 values, and those pretty much will help you make your decisions. But your careers, whether it's good or bad, that's your determination. For me, I sense people, whether they're happy or not, whether they're in life or not, whether they're connected to God, source energy, creator. That's how I assess my life. I don't assess other people's lives as good or bad. I just think, wow, they're suffering or they're not, you know. XT says, thank you, Kiana. I think I need to take a step back and recharge. I need that. Thank you. XT, I think you know exactly what you need to do. But go check out that program, Careers in the New program, and look for that part. And while you're taking a step back, you could get curious. I think curiosity is a huge tool that helps people stay out of judgment and also get more information. So the informational interviews I found to be exceptionally supportive and helpful for learning about careers and about people, and you just get to meet people who are doing what you think you want to do, and then once you talk to 2 or 3 of them, you might realize, I don't think I want to do that. That's what I did when I was in college. I did that all. I still interview people today. Even my in-law, my father-in-law came and he's like, oh, I had to prepare for all Kiana's questions because I like to ask questions. So. Link is asking if they can, of course you can ask questions. Jeffrey's saying they let you down. This is not a pre-recorded stream, no. Is this a fake stream? No. Just look at the chat. Look at all the look at all the bots. Whatever, when Son of God, good to see you here. Whenever I hear of student suicide, I become sad for 2 days. Yeah, it is sad. I need to look at my... I don't know what... I had to get my glasses. I don't know what MBBS is. And in engineering. Why are these people killing themselves? You know what, Son of God, I actually thought today I was going to come on here and talk about early deaths and timelines about that. And I thought, no, that's too dense of a topic. But since you are bringing it up, Son of God, you are in tune with what is going on this timeline. So many people are not going to be making it through this timeline that we're on, where things are very turbulent and changing, and truths are coming out, and it's going to really challenge people both mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So if we don't have an inner connection to God, these people are more susceptible to dense energies, lower frequencies that essentially suck the life out of other people. Entity attachments are energies that make people think things that aren't real. MK Ultra is a real thing. There are energies that are pulsed into the electromagnetic field, and that's not a conspiracy, that's a truth. So you can go research that. But what you want to do, Son of God, is really challenge some of your ideas about death, and understand that your job is not to understand their soul journey. Your job is to use their journey as a reflection point, especially if it makes you sad, as to how can you live more in alignment with your soul journey. Because anybody who is not making it right now is struggling, potentially, and especially if they're taking their lives, or doing drugs, or smoking excessively, or doing things that hurt themselves. Those are other energies, and they really siphon the life force out of people. I hope that you find that helpful, Son of God. I think you're very, very astute young man, and you definitely are more attuned to what's happening in our environments. Just use whatever is reflecting on the outside to learn about how your inner world is feeling, and process your inner world energies, because the inner world creates the outer world, okay? Remy is saying that he likes my hair. Thank you. Tarum, you can, I think that's what is that how you say your name? Takum? Takum. You don't have to believe in prophets or religion, but you do want to connect to source energy, creator, God energy. You want to make a connection to your within, because you want to challenge the anti-life, anti-God energies out there, because those energies are really prevalent, and they help you to be vulnerable to other energies. So you really want to challenge, why do you believe what you believe? Where did you come from? How did you get here? What are you connected to? How is your energy running? You like start to ask about energy, start to be curious about it. See, don't focus on what you don't believe as much as what do you believe and why do you believe what you believe. Madam, I don't know what question you're asking. Oh, you're talking to Son of God. You two can have your own discussion. All right. So this whole stream was intended to provide a different way of making decisions. So essentially, when you are making decisions and you want to make decisions, in my assessment, that bring you to a higher level of consciousness. You can't do that making decisions from your comfort zone. So what you want to start to do is when you're making decisions about everything every single day, is this choice bringing me in alignment to a higher frequency? If I eat this food, is that bringing me into alignment with a higher frequency? And if the answer is no, then you consciously then make the decision. Oh, I still want to eat it. Okay, so you eat it knowing that it's not bringing you to a higher frequency. Yeah, the whole thing is about being in awareness of what choices that you're making every single day. Every little decision can be in alignment to a higher frequency or a lower frequency, and that choice is always yours. So, Takum is saying, I believe all human beings have the basic capacity of reason to discover the truth. Hey, I would challenge that, because how many people do you know in your own personal world that don't use critical thinking? I believe this because my mom told me or my dad told me. And then we believe what our parents told us that were lies. We believe what the educational system that told us, which were lies. And we didn't learn until we did our own research and used our own critical thinking to start to challenge ideas. I mean, come on, we've been told lies. There's lies, 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 lies. And you don't know they're lies until you challenge your thinking. So use critical thinking. Hi, Gary. Son of God. When I had a wisdom that everything is temporary, after that, I don't get attached. Non-attachment is so good. I don't get attached to anyone, but I still show love, not like I can't live without them, but a month ago, my dog died. Oh, I'm so sorry. And you are okay, but my parents are sad. Sadness is a way of processing. There's nothing wrong with being sad. And having non-attachment is a beautiful expression. It allows you to be fluid. That's beautiful. And obviously, Son of God, you are very wise. And you probably have a belief that you could still be in connection with your dog, whether your dog is in the physical or non-physical. Takum, I would say that capacity has nothing to do with your intellectual mind, okay? Your capacity has to do with your ability to open your heart. That's capacity. And if you have a closed heart, you will have a closed mind. And if you have a closed heart and a closed mind, you will have closed systems. You will have inverted systems. You will have reverse systems. You will have bad architectures, or I will say inverted architectures in your energy field. You know, that's your choice. All right, y'all, I hope that this was helpful and insightful to look at things in a unique and different way, especially as you are in this time of great change. And I will say that people on here in the chat, just know that whatever you are writing is a reflection of you. And if that is the reflection that you wish to share with the world, just know it doesn't just show up here in the chat, it shows up in other areas of your life. So don't think that you're immune from your own BS. Son of God says, my chemistry teacher used to say that she also a Reiki master, that when she sees the earth, you get a promotion. Okay. I don't know anything about Reiki. I've met a lot of Reiki masters. I've had a lot of Reiki clients, but I don't do Reiki, so I don't know much about it. But I hope you all have a great day, and I hope you make decisions that support you being in a higher frequency, a higher level of consciousness, and that when you choose to share yourself, you choose to share the best of who you are always, whether it's in these chats or in another space. Just know that you're not immune from your own negativity. So choose a different frequency. All right. Bye. Love you guys.